Baron. He was always Rob. So I had
It's a delivered price. It's the wage, you know. It's.
I got her level on it once. She said, no, don't go any further. I'm going all the way upside down on it, but I had it in the way on
3 6-foot.
Finally said, well, if you're not gonna use it.
6-foot tubes there. And they diddle-daddled around and
So anyway, with this one, I set the thing up, and
I better move on this. I called and we had the culvert.
first time I went over, he said, it's not adjusted right.
Steel,
Down.
smooth, blah, blah, blah.
So then I,
Couple days,
the
we would
feet
move
done,
that, because we had to have it be done,
and then I got it right.
be
So
done.
then when he went,
Barry, how are you?
the whole,
That's June before you can do it.
that's far enough. Said,
You snooze, you lose.
you're okay. Said, I'm gonna go. It was like, oh, told his mother yesterday, thought I was just gonna flip right over the thing and. Better for 2 seconds. Said, set that thing up. It's a lot easier than.
Done.
Ross messed with mine one time. It's set for me. That's balanced. He was messing with me. Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, and hell today?
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know what this is.
Never saw it in your life, huh?
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Get that measuring stick.
Just to keep everyone in line.
Too late.
Too late.
I've got one in my garage, if I can figure out what to do with it. My grade level.
Above mine too.
Pretty good for a Tuesday. How about you?
I'm good.
He's seen it. I think he's seen it.
Get up. Likes to go down. To get operate. Block clutch. And I can't go back up. Start butcher Tuesday or Thursday because I got an appointment.
Yeah.
I'll just go through. Sit it down.
Paper.
Fill out. So,
Random.
I don't think so.
Seems like.
so then I went shooting high. Still at 20.
My watch says 3, so I'll call the meeting to order. Approval of the September 16th minutes. So move.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Oh, okay, I'll second it.
It's gonna be a long meeting. I'm sorry, guys. Can't get a second. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public comment.
A couple weeks ago, we had that Leaf It to Rusk. How many of you guys, people got up to see that? It was just a ton of people up there in the hills. It's a diamond in the rough. Everybody compliments how nice it is. And I don't think we realize how many people use it up there.
Well, that one was way under advertised because I didn't even know about it. Oh,
It's just unreal.
yeah.
More people. Anyways, talking to people up there, and I ran into one bunch that was lost on Dijon Road. They were from the Bonduelle area, and they started raving about the trails. The signage on our trails is by far the best of any place they've been. They've been all over. Then they brought up the Red Bridge.
George?
George didn't do that. They think that is the neatest go-to destination of any place. The scenery, the creek, the fact that we can cross that big river, picnic tables right there. And this lady showed me a picture of 22 machines all the way across, maybe I shouldn't say that. 22 machines all the way across the bridge. They didn't all fit. And 32, 35 people standing in the middle of the bridge. They used the picnic table to stand to get up. And it was a pretty doggone neat picture. And the bridge is still there. And everybody you talk to, not everybody, but a lot of people just think that's a great destination. And our whole trail system is to be commended. I wouldn't commend our forestry pickups. They need to be washed. The only way to identify them is by how dirty they are. I've been traveling around different counties this last month, and theirs are all clean. You know if it's maintenance or if it's parks and rec. And the people are very helpful, which ours are very helpful, but our equipment is junk. My opinion.
Anything else? George?
Don mentioned the Leaf It to Rusk and you hadn't seen anything. It was on Facebook and the Chamber of Commerce advertised our guided ride and brat feed. We sold 575 brats at the Red Rock Pub that day.
Well, I don't do either one of those sites. So. I like the old Ladysmith News and a couple of posters. That's who I am.
Just do another comment about that, the Leaf It to Rusk ride, and I led one for the Indian Head Club. And there was a ton of people up there enjoying the trails. As far as the Red Bridge goes, the Indian Head Shriners Club from Rice Lake had an ATV ride where they raise a bunch of money for the hospitals. And the pictures were all in the Zephyr Shriners magazine that I get. And included in there was a picture of the Red Bridge. So.
Anything else?
In my travels, especially over that way, I went over a lot of bridges on these ATV trails. The lowest rating on any of them was 9 ton. At 9 or 9.5 ton, there's a lot of 9.5 ton ones. I went to put a hot tub on one. And yet the trail rating was 9 or 9.5 ton. The groomer rating was 12 or 18 ton. And we're patching some of these with conveyor belting. Patching some of the holes. You'd be surprised, put a lot of screws in how much that'll hold. That was their comment. I don't know how we get our rating done, but their ratings were way higher. That's bridge.
If it's a state-funded trail, it has to be 14,000 pounds for an ATV. It's a state-funded trail.
Pat, you remaining mute?
Me? Oh, I'm here for the next item.
Okay. Next up, DNR, you have the floor.
So I got the DNR here today between Pat Zimmer. I think most of you know him. He's Mike's younger brother. And Derek, of course. Prescribed burning is going to be a thing on the Russ County Forest moving forward in the next year or 2 or 3 or 5, whenever it comes time. It's very valuable for silviculture, for growing the trees we want to grow and managing wildlife habitat and things like that. So later in the agenda, there's an item, equipment purchase that's going to be related to this. It's for a slip-on unit for UTV, so that we can help out with prescribed burns on the county forest. And I'll turn it over to Derek and Pat for a little presentation to educate you guys on it.
All right, just a quick and dirty about prescribed burning. You can go to the next slide. There's mainly 2 different reasons for prescribed burning: silviculture and for habitat. There are other reasons, but those are the 2 primary. The slide up there right now shows our past, present, and future acres of oak. That's what's highlighted. So presently we have 12,000 acres typed as oak. Basically what that means is half of the stand or more is in red oak or oak. In the future, we're anticipating about 7,000, a little over 7,000 acres, but what we're wanting to manage specifically for oak is going to be approximately 5,000 acres. And we've already started that. You've seen the sales with shelterwood harvest. That's the beginning stages of regenerating the oak. Go ahead. So the oak right now, most of it was established after the cutover era. A lot of fires came through with all the slash and everything. Oak is a fire adapted species. It sends a deep taproot. So it's better able to withstand fire than maples and other species. But our oak is getting old. So most of it is 100 years old, give or take a few years. With that, it's getting more susceptible to oak wilt, which we have up in the county forest. Blue-line chestnut borer, we've seen issues with that. And as it gets older, it just is less vigorous. And it's getting to the time where we're wanting to regenerate it. So silviculture is going to be the main reason. Our goal is to try and regenerate 100 acres a year through these shelterwood harvests. We also scarify. Then if we get the desired number of oak seedlings, it's going to end up being burned. But another tool to use prescribed burning for is for habitat burns. And so we have an opportunity. This is just kind of an aerial view. And I don't know if you guys can tell where things are at. This is actually why I brought this, so I could point. But this is Felix Road, the snowmobile trail. And just a few things to know. So this is Sarb's farm. This is where a lot of the elk hang out. The Flambeau River State Forest has done a lot of elk improvements right in this area here. We have the River Road openings that we have some elk projects where they made openings, planted them in clover and such. This is a large clear cut. That was the elk knuckle sale. That was primarily for elk as well. This green line is the elk range. That's where they're trying to promote elk habitat. And so a lot of it falls within the Russ County Forest. This red is a burn that we're looking to do this coming spring. So you can go to the next slide. So this burn is going to be roughly 64 acres. It's about half and half. You can see the open area. A lot of that looks like it was just old flooded beaver area. It was at one time. But since it's been drained, a lot of it is actually some decent meadow species. There's already elk sign in there. We walked this with Josh Beagle and Spencer O'Brien. Josh is the elk biologist. Spencer is the wildlife biologist for Ruskin-Taylor County. They were really excited about this burn, walking through the meadows and seeing the different species. They thought this would be a huge benefit. The problem is those meadows are getting grown in with willow and alder, and fire would help to keep that back and expand more area into open meadow. There is some aspen there. We walked through that. Surprisingly, there's a fair bit of oak seedlings and saplings underneath the aspen. So if we ran fire through there, it would help promote oak in that area, which there's not a ton of oak over on the east block of the county forest, not like there is on the west side. So that would be a benefit. Just a couple things. So yeah, that would be to promote meadows and oak. This would also be primarily funded through RMEF and elk license sales. The whole goal of this is for increasing elk habitat. And it would also, as another win, it would be a great introductory burn. So to get some of the county employees with the DNR write a plan, be a relatively simple, small burn, and it'd just be a good burn to kind of start off figuring out how we're going to work this partnership with all the burns that we have coming up for these shelter woods that we've harvested. So this is what one of the meadows looks like. I was out there, took a picture. There's a lot of goldenrod, lots of other flowering plants. There's areas that are wet and will be perpetually wet, or so we're guessing. The elk biologist said those would probably end up being really good wallowing spots and such. They felt this was definitely a worthwhile project, and it's of a scale that was really appealing to them, being 64 acres. So there's going to be a little bit of investment needed from the county with some equipment, like Jared alluded to. He's going to be asking for some equipment, but Pat Zimmer is here. He's my boss, the team leader. He gets a little higher view of different counties, state forests, what they're doing for burning, equipment they've purchased, some of the burns they've done. He's been on way more of the burns in the surrounding areas than I have. So he's going to speak to what he has seen and the benefit of it and some of the equipment that has helped them, or kind of their programs and how they run.
Yeah, so in my experience, assisted over in Sawyer County with some of their burns, as well as some of the other counties in the area, Bayfield. I know Douglas is doing some burning, Washburn County as well. Various reasons for their burns. Some are promoting jack pine species, regeneration, Kirtland warbler habitat improvements up in the Northwest Sands. Sawyer is probably a little bit more similar to Rusk in that they're primarily burning for elk habitat and oak regeneration. You know, trying to eliminate competition in those oak stands. As Derek mentioned, you know, we looked at the acreage in Rusk County. 100 acres a year is going to be very, I think, challenging. What we see as far as the resource availability, challenges that we have is that these burn windows in some years, depending on weather, can be very narrow. And burn windows are, you know, opportunities to get these burns done in conditions that are going to be favorable to your burn objectives. So with our resources being pretty thin and spread out, a lot of these burn windows open up in the same areas at the same time. So as we're conducting our burn plans and we're trying to plan for the burns, you know, you might be down to 1 or 2 people short, and you have to have, for these burn plans, for the day of the burn, you have to meet the minimum required staffing for these burns. So it's important that the counties are supporting this and, you know, are willing to allow staff to assist with some of these burns. Again, some of the other counties, Sawyer, Bayfield, done a really good job of assisting with these burns, their personnel assist. The cost is pretty minimal as far as additional costs. What it really is it's a time standard investment into prescribed burning, shifting it from other tasks on the county forest. So that's something, you know, the committee has to decide if that value is worth, you know, shifting those resources for these burns. We've seen success on these burns. Sawyer's been doing these for approximately 7 or 8 years now. It's definitely eliminating competition with the oak stands, eliminating aspen, eliminating maple and some of the more shade tolerant species, allowing the oak to reflush and continue to grow and occupy those sites. I don't think we're ever going to be to the point where we have in the Blue Hills these solid, you know, hundreds and hundreds of acres of solid oak. Those fires historically burned repeatedly and, you know, really cleared the site and eliminated a lot of that competition for the oak up there. I think the intention for the oak sites is to just increase that oak component on these stands and really try to give oak as much of an advantage as possible to keep it on the site. And, it's a valuable species to the county forest, for wildlife, for all sorts of different purposes, timber value, things like that. So, but we are seeing success. State lands burns up in Sawyer County, county burns, doing a little bit on the Flamborough River State Forest as well. Not as much for oak habitats, more for wildlife habitat there. But what it would require for the county personnel, PPE, training, and this is really, we're not overseeing this as far as the county staff. It's really it's up to the county to kind of comply with our requirements for the county burns, so that their staff have had the minimal training, certificates for their minimal training, have the proper PPE for the day of the burn. And then we're writing the burn plans for the county, and then we're running the burns on the day of. But really, the county's investment is, making sure that their staff are meeting our requirements the day of. But it's been a really good partnership with other counties and other areas that we've done it in. Some years we can get 100+ acres done. Some years we don't get any. Last year we had, I think, we had 3 or 4 burns planned on the Sawyer County Forest, just as an example. And we got 1 burn completed, and then we hit red flag warnings and had to shut everything down. And not long after the red flag, then the rain started coming in. So we had really short burn windows last year. We're hoping to get some of that back here this next spring. But the other investment is that not just the day of the burn, some of these burns, especially these silviculture burns, which are heavy to logging slash, there's a lot of fuel loading on the forest floor. These burns are going to continue to smoke for days, depending on what the weather does after the burn. Sometimes we get lucky, we'll get an inch of rain after the burn, and we can walk away relatively quickly. But as long as that burn is still smoking, we're required to monitor it and patrol it at all times. So we're kind of trade out there. We do some of that with our staff, but also we ask that the county invest a little bit of time where maybe they have their staff patrolling as well. So, it might be a day where one person's out there patrolling the burn, making sure that the smoke and everything is staying inside the burn unit until that burn is completely extinguished. So, I guess that's all I have, Derek. I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, I guess if you guys have any questions regarding any of the prescribed burning or anything, ask them here or later or whatever, but a little overview.
So
The importance of it.
will you guys do their training?
The required training, like Jared already has, I think Dane has, and Chris. Do we offer the S130, 190 still up in?
We don't offer that, but there's avenues where they can get it. We have classes available. There's S130, 190 basic firefighter classes are going on. We get notified where those are at around the state that people could go to. That would be on, county time for those classes. It's typically, the minimal training is typically about 6 days worth of training. And then, we're not maintaining those certificates for them. The county would be maintaining those training certificates. We would just, we wouldn't need to see them. It's just kind of on a good faith that they have the training. That would be the expectation, is that they have that. We do host an annual, what we call our fire line refresher every year. It's required for us. It's required for all national wildland firefighters to attend. That's not mandatory for county staff, but I would encourage it because it's really about fire line safety. Talks a lot about fire suppression, but also a lot of prescribed burning safety as well. So that's a one-day offering that we hold one of those sessions here in Ladysmith in the spring, usually first part of March. They would be welcome to at no cost. Again, just county staff time and that.
What's the PPE? Just the firefighters' clothes?
Boots, Nomex pants, Nomex shirts, leather gloves, hard hat, safety glasses.
The picture?
Yeah,
Well, that's what I was figuring, but
Yeah.
we raid the firemen's halls and borrow some.
How you guys set on riders this year?
Um,
If they all become riders, do you supply the equipment?
yes, yep. They become riders. There would be an expectation that they show up for a certain amount of days throughout the spring to help us when fire danger is higher, when we have riders on. But yeah, if they were riders, they would be employees, also like limited term employees, and we would provide them with the equipment. The
Right,
PPE.
so if they're hired on as riders with us, then they're state employees, and then,
We cover a lot of this
we
stuff.
cover a lot of, yeah. It would be completely separate from county employment at that point.
So we probably have to use PTO on a day that we're staffing for fire, I would imagine.
Yes, if you were hired on as riders, you'd have to use vacation days or whatever.
Unless you do it on the weekends. They work 7 days a week.
Work on the weekend. As far as equipment, on the day of the burns, we typically will have, our tractor plows, the work that's done to put in fire breaks, that's all, the fire break work is billed to the county typically like our same rates as what our site prep verification, or if they're doing, any of the project work up on the ski trail or any other, road improvement type work. That gets billed at I think it's right around $65 an hour for that work. But as far as the day of the burn, if we have type 7s or our own UTVs with water, that's not charged to the county. We have those assigned to the burn those days. But that's something, where a lot of the counties will have some minimal pieces of equipment. So if they are patrolling it without us there the next day or a few days later, they have a source of water in case they need it for mopping up or things like that. So, it's nice that the counties do invest a little bit into some of the minimal equipment for some of this work.
Well, that's all we got.
Any questions? Any more questions? Or?
I think it's worth trying.
Definitely a benefit for
Thank you. Mark?
I have a report from Mike Zimmer. The last water samples tested at Josie Creek Campground water system were good. So that's a sigh of relief. Struggled with that for most of the summer. Water was shut off last week at all the campgrounds for winter. We'll turn back on in the spring. Docks will be pulled later this week and next week. That usually includes a day with skid steer from Highway Department and a couple of days of dock pulling. Highway Department has nearly completed the ATV Trail gravel rehab project from Kozak Lane to County Pole. Project should be completed this week. $100,000 plus ATV grant project. We were able to keep in-house at the Highway Department. Help them do that, so it's a good project. And the trail's looking good, I think. It included some reshaping on some hills and curves to get better drainage as well, not just gravel. And a reroute around a big steep hill to make that so it's not washing out constantly. DNR is requiring more wetland delineation work to be done before issuing the stormwater permit for the Bucks Lake ATV Trail Development Project. So the new trail is stalled another year because of the DNR.
Who does the delineation?
We'll have to figure that out, hire it out. Nick can do that, but this is too much for him, so he's not gonna be able to. Probably work through Morgan and Parmley or something like that. We had a guy we used the year before, 2024. Took all year to do like 1 or 2 sites, and that basically put us a year behind last year. So hopefully we can find someone who's a little quicker. But I think Nick's estimate on delineations is like 75 delineations or something crazy. It's a lot of work. It'll be worth it when the trail's done, if we can get through that and build another sweet trail that all the tourists love. Any questions on the parks report?
I'll just add, we were in Marking Timber where they were adding gravel to the ATV trail, and it was a dramatic difference. It was so much better after they added the gravel and graded it and everything. It looked really nice, and the trails were pretty bad in that area before that, so that was a good project.
You're doing good.
Timber sale report from Dane Gravison. It was a good month for operating. Things dried out nicely and conditions were good. Thanks to Jake and Chris for the help scaling. I helped one day too, but I guess I didn't get credit. I messed up the scale sheet though, just ask Cody. Almost done with Bald Hill's cut. That's Lionel Klein. That struck has got a lot of bullet points here. Completed a closeout work on a few sales. Done cutting and forwarding aspen coppets on Valley Road, Stillwood to Hall. Moved out of the overstore removal on the Young. A few winter areas to cut yet. Wet and soft areas. Finished cutting and forwarding Shelterwood on DeJong Road. Lots of wood to haul. I'm currently working on an oak thinning on DeJong Road. Spelled and processed wood to forward and haul. Finished cutting and forwarding the overstore removal on Euchre Road. Wood to haul there as well. Flannel Fleet making good progress on the select cut north of County F on Bald Hill. They're right next to the line up there. Another crew moved out of the select cut north of Excelsior Road. It was just too wet. Of course, it dried out as soon as they pulled out. Park Falls Hardwood's moving the sale off the end of Weirgore Road. And Dane told me today that it's looking really nice in there. That's what I got.
And second hat now? No, under your third hat?
Administrator's report. We had our chainsaw safety with Highway Department shortly after our last meeting. It was very good. The instructor was the best one I ever had. We need new helmets and new boots out of that, so we're looking into getting that stuff all ordered up. Some PPE for chainsaw work. We also had our DNR partnership meeting. Some highlights from that. So that's an annual meeting between our department and the DNR, local DNR, as well as DNR specialists from the whole region. Paul Segan spoke a lot about forest health. There's lots of disease updates from him. Sounds like they're bringing some non-stinging parasitic wasps to counteract EAB, so that should be interesting. It's not going to eliminate the EAB problem, but it might bring them to a lesser of a screaming population and brings a little more hope, I guess, that there'll be some ash trees in the future. Our other highlight, our recon and timber sale establishment work is in great shape, according to Derek, and the reports ran on Whispers. Talked about wildlife with Spencer O'Brien, the local wildlife biologist, and Josh Spiegel, as well as Ashley Strabel. Deer, elk, grouse, hunter walking trails, touched on all that, what our plans are, what we've been doing, how we're accomplishing things. Josh is, I think this week or next week, he's gonna be working on that elk openings trail improvement project off Felix Road. If you remember, we're supplying a culvert for that, and yeah, it should be a good improvement there, so they can get in there and maintain those openings a little better. If you're familiar with those. What else? Touched on recreational stuff as well. Talked a lot about prescribed burns and how to move forward with that whole process and program. Looking forward to something new that benefits us in a great way like that. So, yeah. We had an annual timber sale review. So we used to have an internal audit, it was called, where the DNR would come every 5 years, I believe. Is that right? And do audit on, this is separate from a forest certification audit. That's like every 5 to 7. The DNR would come and review our timber sales as well as some other stuff. I guess for staffing reasons and whatnot and time and resources, that process was eliminated and replaced with a timber sale review conducted by a liaison, Derek. So he did that. Everything checked out great. Anything to comment on that, Derek?
No?
Did I get that stuff right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Audited 3 sales, 10% of the closeouts, and
That's an annual audit now?
it's an annual audit, and look at all the scale slips, make sure everything matches up and everything that needs to be in the file is in there. And they're doing a great job from checking the sales, the ledgers, all the way to the closeout process and invoicing and keeping track of tickets and all of that type of stuff. They're doing a good job.
Thanks, Derek. We had fall WCFA meeting. We had a quick tour of trees for tomorrow, which was kind of neat. I had never been there before, but a lot of students from around the state, around the region, still there for natural resources education. Some highlights of that: Nolan Kriegel, a forest hydrologist, gave valuable information on navigating the DNR permit process. Willie Knack from KBIS, that's our bridge inspector, he spoke about bridges at length, and that was pretty interesting. Brian Cole, DNR Forest Products Specialist, he talked about timber markets. Mostly, as you probably know already, it's kind of a lot of bad news in recent years, but there's always hope for new markets, and hopefully something shows up. Ice Age Trail, Kevin Thusius, I'm not sure the pronunciation on that. Talked about the Ice Age Trail and a lot of their projects around the state. And he gave a shout out to Russ County with the Dreamer Route, which is a huge trail project that they've been working on for years here. So it was kind of neat to see Russ County called out in a good way at a big meeting. Derek, you heard it.
I did. Wonderful.
Quick touch on Island Lake boat landing. That's going to be on the agenda next month. Phil wanted to wait until he was here to talk about that. I did look into the possibility of splitting that parcel and potentially selling a portion of it to the landowner next door. It's not an option. Zoning won't allow that parcel to be split because it's too small already. So scratch that from the list of options. Still options there. Fund 8, Lake Nuco, that's a large landowner, with snowmobile trails on it. They agreed to, I think, 2 of the 3 or 3 of the 4 changes that Rich wanted on the landowner contract to run the snowmobile trail on their properties. So right now, I'm still waiting for the contract to come from them with the changes so that I can forward it to Corporation Council again and get it approved. There was one change that they didn't want to make, so I still want to send that to Corp Council again and see if it flies this time. If it does, otherwise it could mean some pretty major reroutes for a couple of different clubs. Right, Jerry,
Well, we got ours solved.
got yours solved?
We sold the land to somebody else, so they're not the landowner over there anymore.
Interesting.
Did the new guy give access?
We go across to his anyways, so.
No. Maybe.
As far as truck radios go, we're going to get cell boosters. Most, everybody in the department is game for that. We talked about that as an option last month and looked into that, and I think that's gonna be the best solution. So unless you guys have heartburn for that, I'll go ahead and get them ordered. They don't need approval because they're under the cost.
How much are they?
I wanna say about $600 or $650 a piece, including installation. This will be installed by Sound and Logic in Rice Lake. I think highway departments worked with them. Well, they did install one for us a couple of years ago, I think. They're not perfect either, nothing's perfect, but definitely helps. That's all I got.
Anybody have any questions of Jared and his three hats? If not, Public Trail Committee report.
Okay, well, at our meeting, we talked a lot about, we got clarification, thanks to Jared from Sheriff's Department, on parking, being able to park on closed trails to get off the main road. And that's been talked about off and on for quite a while. But we got clarification from the Sheriff's Department. According to Bert, we can park 33 feet from the center line of the main road. So if you really think about it, you're not off the main road then, because you're still within the main road. And you know, his concern in his email was in the past, you know, bear hunters, you know, parking 50, 100 yards down the trail, which obviously that's, you know, if that's happened, that's, you know, that's pushing it way too far. But we did talk about that quite a bit, and we would like to see being able to get 2 or 3 cars or 2 or 3 vehicles off the main road. So if a couple of people are going to meet to grouse hunt, berry pick, whatever, you can get at least 2 vehicles and get it off the main road for safety reasons. You know, obviously, if the trail is wet or whatever, where it's not conducive to park on, then you have to park on the main road, on the edge of the main road. But that's for safety issues. That's not the best. So, you know, we would like to be able to get vehicles to park at, you know, and we're going to talk about it again next week and come up with some proposed wording for you guys on how to word that so we can get a couple vehicles, you know, on these closed trails to get them off the road. The other thing that was talked about a little bit was some members of the committee would like to do a spring cleanup on trails in the spring, you know, with whoever, you know, ATV club, hunters, whoever wants to get involved, but do a spring cleanup and, you know, where a bunch of people come and try to pick up garbage, and you know this has been done in the past. I know over on our side of the county, you know, every few years we do that. The bear hunters a lot of times are spearhead that, but you know, certainly other groups could get involved and get involved with that to try to get some of this garbage along the trails picked up and cleaned up. And I guess that's really about all we talked about. I know the next item is the trail recommendations. We had some guys, a couple guys that have done some inspections but had trouble with the app working right, and so we had nothing to present at the meeting. You know, next month I'm sure we're going to have some. You know, and winter's closing fast, so we kind of stress that if anybody wants to get any trail inspections done, better get out and do them while we can. So, you know, I guess along those terms, you know, we don't have any recommendations for the next item on the agenda. So,
One of the things with parking and Bert is this Bert's interpretation of the law, because Bert's getting ready to retire. When he retires, are we gonna have to go through this again?
Well, that's why we'd like to get something done that you guys can approve. That says, you know, it's okay to park so many feet and whatever, you know, at the trailhead of a closed trail, if conditions warrant to get the vehicle off the road. So if we got something in writing, then we don't have to, you know, play this game every time we're dealing with a new person.
Anything else? Questions? Public Trail Committee member.
Who's that guy?
Imagine that.
All right, guess I
Care to make a motion?
nominate Jay. Fill the vacancy.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Oh yeah, I don't know if anybody saw it on the news, but the governor said, this is Wood Forest Products Week. Whatever that means. They had a big group of people. at that meeting.
Dane dug up 3 or 4, looks like 4 quotes for UTV slip-on units. So I guess I would like to purchase the first one. It comes from the DNR. They build these at the LeMay Center in Tomahawk. They do lots of impressive fabrication there. It was part of the tour some 2 years ago, or last year, I guess, 2024. Well, anyway, it's competitively priced, and it sounds like it's a pretty good unit.
Is it the low bid? Looks like a low bid.
I think it is the lowest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is $100.
But it's similar to all these. It's a tank for water, and it's a pump to pump the water with a, imagine there's the hose reel on there out there.
Does the fire departments get involved in this that are in the areas? These control burns?
There are options for them too, but typically they don't. As we have fire department members who are riders with us that do. And there are avenues where they can assist and get paid, but we typically haven't, at least not in this area, have utilized that resource.
The reason I ask is to buy something we're gonna use once a year. Not a lot of money, but these fire departments have them. If that's an avenue we tried to see if they would work with us on doing some of this, because we're buying something we're gonna use once a year.
Well, you might have
They
multiple.
already have that, and then plus if the fire department involved, they got, their tanker trucks and water and.
Problem is, we're usually doing these burns when there's a risk for wildfires as well, and they're not gonna wanna be tied up out in the Blue Hills without great service or.
Availability is gonna be one of the key things. If you've got it, you have it, and it can be dedicated to a burn, where a fire department, if they even were willing to assist and turn loose a piece of equipment, I mean, if they have a wildfire, they're gonna wanna pull it, and you may have multiple burns some years, and there might be years where you don't have any, based on the burn window, so it
You have multiple burns and the burns could, they could
can last for.
smoking for 4 or 5 days, so I wouldn't look at it as just a one day a year thing to use. You could get used more than that, but
Would it be worthwhile to talk to the local fire departments and see if any of their guys, they like fires and they like fighting fires. Maybe have the possibility to become one of your riders?
We ask them every sprint. I mean, the ones that we have are the ones that are interested in it.
Okay.
I mean, we have meetings with them every year, so we have annual trainings with them and then other classes with them, so we're in contact with them pretty regularly.
What I'm looking at is, you're buying a piece of equipment you're gonna utilize for 1 week out of the year.
It's an important week though. If we want to continue to grow our premier oak in the Blue Hills, we're gonna have to worth a little effort.
I think it's like $2,200 a lot better than $22,000.
Yeah, but then everything goes up after, then they need this, then they need all this other equipment, and then they want, where does it end?
It ends with retirement.
Well, should we possibly put a package together with the PPEs so we know exactly how much we got invested into it?
Yeah, I don't know where are we getting the money for this at? Which fund?
That stuff isn't cheap either.
In the timber sale expense account.
Is it?
Stuff lasts quite a while too. We've had,
If it's taken care of.
right, if it's taken care of.
The stuff from the fire hall just get used and tossed in the corner, well.
No doubt. And things, you know, things can happen. They need maintenance and such, but overall, we've had Lady Smith for our UTV quite a few years already now, 10 plus.
Yeah, we're just starting to, looking to replace it. It still functions, we're just looking to get a little bit more capacity.
Right.
So you're not in a hurry to get it, right? Can you put together a package of everything you would need? Like the PPE and the,
I can do that.
I mean, doesn't take them any time to make them, right? Or do they have them on
I
hand?
think they have them in stock, or do they make them, they don't custom make them based on your.
These get picked up by fire departments, by other DNR folks, so I mean, they have a limited number of resources. I don't know how fast it takes them to make them, but I know we're looking to get one here pretty soon.
I mean, you're talking 6 guys, 6 shirts, 6 pants. It's not.
Right. So if you just put it all together next month.
And you got training involved and all that. That's a week's worth of training to get trained, and you kind of want to know what it's going to cost to run this program. We don't really have a number in front of us what it's going to cost us to do this, besides what this is going to cost.
So are you looking at March, April?
Well, we have money in the budget this year, so I'd like to do it this year if we can.
But I mean, when are you
When to
thinking?
do this first burn,
Yeah.
Oh,
probably it would be in April sometime.
So, yeah, if you list out, he said 2 you already. Right? He said 2 you already. This weekend, that was a long
Yeah,
time.
3 of us have certification, I believe.
And if you do the refresher training with them for free, so put it all together in a package.
Yeah, I like the idea of coming in with the package and,
It's going to cost to do the whole thing.
yeah, training and everything. I mean, we're probably easier than it will be to get it through finance, to be honest. I have the whole package as much as we can. This one will pop out. Because I still think it's a good idea. Are you?
It doesn't have to go to finance, it goes to property. Any equipment purchase. All the PPE is a way low price, so it doesn't have to go there at all. Yeah, we can put together the total for you. Bring it next month.
Sounds good. Rusk Riders, I guess, anything else on that? We'll go to Rusk Riders.
Okay, the club's mission statement is to help build, maintain, and enhance the trail experience for tourism. And we would like permission to build a trail spur from the river trail at the Red Canyon area in order to access the east side of the Red Canyon with ATVs and UTVs as well as on foot. Our club will fund this entire project, and Mike Zimmer will oversee the construction to be done by Goodis Sand and Gravel. The spur will require a 48-inch by 30-inch culvert, which we would like to purchase from our highway department. Any assistance in making that purchase by the club would be greatly appreciated. That's because I was told that the county can't sell things to a private firm. I'm sure that it could be made to happen. The price is very competitive compared to other bids on a culvert. And we would also recommend that the area within 500 feet or so in all directions from the canyon be preserved in its natural state. And I'm sure that a sightseeing tour by this committee would yield an agreement to the suggestion. So that picture shows basically what we would be doing. The culvert would go over there where the arrow is. We'd have access from both directions off the Woodward Trail. The view of the canyon is better on the east side than it is on the west side.
Is this where all the red pipestone came from up in the Blue Hills?
The hills is full of that rock. Anyway, it would just enhance everything, and I don't think he'd have to cut a single tree out. So big timber in there. Relatively flat once you get on the rise.
And so those lines are your elevation lines?
I would say from where the arrow, where the culvert is to the loop up on top, it's probably maybe 20 feet rise. I don't know what the contour line spacing is there. It seems like about 20 feet when you're standing there.
Is that right? The west side. Everything.
Did Mike have a chance to look at this?
Yeah, Mike looked at it.
Mike and I and one of the club members, Bart Onley, and Scott Goodis were there looking at the area for a couple hours, planning it out. Scott already gave me a rough estimate of what it would cost. It's favorable with the club, so all we need to do is be able to get a culvert from the county highway department, and Mike has to apply for a permit for that culvert. We talked about
Figure out how to do that. It's a nonprofit that's doing it, so. The
You
county.
just buy it through the forestry department. The forestry department can get the culverts from
Okay. We have to buy it and get.
and then somebody has to give the club a bill and we'll pay it.
Yep.
The window of getting a culvert permit, we'd like to get this done yet this fall, and Scott said he could fit it into the schedule. If we could get everything done but the culvert, that's okay too. It takes a while to get the permit.
How soon do they start ordering like a 48-inch culvert? I'm sure they don't have particularly laying out there, do they?
Depends on the length.
In my head, it's hard to say, but I don't know how to, if we buy it, probably from Trail and Park Development Fund. If they pay us, I don't know where we apply that in as revenue. I don't know what to do with that. Ashley, do you know how to handle that? It's come up dozens of times. Way to do it. The Forestry Committee wants to just donate the culvert with the Trail and Park Development Fund. First, you don't have a mechanism to take their money and put it back in the.
Right.
I think,
In fact, they make a donation back to the Forestry Committee for parks. You know, some angle on this.
Well, there's got to be an angle, you know, and whoever gets the check is fine as long as we get the culvert.
Well, I don't think you can really do anything until you get the culvert permit. Because they're not gonna let you cross on that without the culvert permit. Start even working on it.
We'd keep it closed.
Even to get machines in there,
Yeah, we have to get a permit first.
you'd have to get the permit first.
Right.
And get the culvert in before you can even get across whatever they're.
Yeah, he would go past the the ditch and work the hill. And then when the culvert comes in, he would do the rest. It's accessible right now, but nobody seems to be going in there. And, you know, I suppose we could cut a dying tree and put it across there to keep wheelers from going in for temporary.
So what does the committee think?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, probably.
Is that a motion?
Sure.
A second?
What's the motion?
What's the motion?
Okay.
We buying a culvert for them or what?
First of all, the whole project has to be approved, right?
But the
Trails.
culvert permits, that's all gonna depend on whether the culvert permit makes us put steel in or plastic.
The trail has plastic culverts.
We can choose whatever we want.
No, not on some of them you can't.
Everyone we've done, we can.
So,
But if they're gonna donate money, I don't know, still don't know what to do with that.
well, I think in the financial procedures manual, donations, monetary or physical, can be accepted by either the admin coordinator or the property committee. And on something like this, I would probably recommend Jerry to go through property committee. But I think to Phil's point, if you are okay approving the concept of this and then get like harder numbers, maybe to come back with on what the cost would be.
The culvert?
Yeah. 'Cause didn't someone say it could be plastic, it could be metal?
An estimate from the highway department, I think it was just over 2,000. I mean, it's basically 100 feet off the Weirgore Trail, that the grant for the Weirgore Trail is still open. So if it was incorporated into that grant and the club decided to donate part of the cost, you know, the full cost of the culvert, somehow, that's just another way of getting it done. Because I got an estimate from Fruitall Manufacturing. They don't sell 30-foot culverts, they sell 40-foot culverts, and it'd be $2,900. Don was just telling me that there's a company in Wausau that charges $77 a foot. So that's a favorable cost if that culvert meets the standards that we need to follow. And at this point, that's unknown. And what the county had quoted, Mike, was what we used to approve this project on our end.
Motion would be the committee supports their actions in
Yeah.
this trail.
Is that specific enough for the clerk over there?
And that will blame you.
Not for Heidi, that's a question for probably you if that's specific.
Oh, I don't sit on the committee. It's up to the person who made the motion to define what they're saying.
Okay.
They have them purchase the culvert through the highway department under the forestry and have them donate the money back for the culvert and proceed with the trail.
Trail and Park Development Fund?
Forestry is purchasing. But the Park and Trail Development Fund is actually under finance and not under forestry
That's under forestry now.
at the turn of the year, right?
Oh, I think it was immediate, wasn't it?
So, or you could proceed with the trail and get the culvert permit.
Yeah.
And then we could bring back after they do that, and we know what it is.
Did you say Mike's working on the permit already, or?
No, he hasn't started, but I'm wondering if I can hire LT to mark some timber if he's doing another permit here this fall.
We need to get the go-ahead. You know, why should you bother getting a permit if we haven't gotten the go-ahead yet?
Right.
But if you approve it, then I would suggest that Mike apply for that permit.
Be open to this fall.
You could probably start any day.
Take
She said it's nice and dry. I mean, we only got less than a quarter inch. She said it's nice and dry and it'd go a lot easier. There's no running water there at all.
So my notes are,
What you got there, Heidi?
the committee supports the proposed ATV trail with Forestry purchasing the culvert from highway through the Parks and Trail Development Fund with a donation from the club for the cost of the culvert. There's a lot of elements. in it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not.
It's on county land anyway.
You have concerns with that, Ashley?
Yeah, I just am looking. So it says donations, according to our financial procedures manual, donations of goods and supplies must be approved by administrative coordinator or property committee. And typically the kinds of donations that I approve are like pet blankets and things like that. Something of this cost, I would prefer, I mean, you're the property chair, for having property sign off on that plan. I don't know why they would say no, but
You passed your meeting for the month, probably.
It's only a couple weeks away though,
Okay.
beginning, no.
so could the motion say, you know, like authorize moving forward with this proposed plan and then recommend to the property committee to accept the donation of the cost of the culvert? So then it's, Forestry is saying, yep, you can go ahead, and then you just have to get the sign off of property to accept the donation.
Yeah, we'd like to get it done this fall because if we have to wait till spring, we gotta wait till July 15th.
Right.
Well, you said you can go ahead with the work except for the ditch.
Correct.
Work in the office.
And I was just, well,
every day waiting.
while sitting here, I thought of this. If we want to block it off because it's not done, we could use the culvert to block it off.
Yeah. Are you comfortable with that, Jerry and Alec, as the seconder? Okay.
Is the property committee then gonna turn that donation and put it into our Trail and Park Development Fund?
That'd be the idea.
Or is it gonna go to general fund or?
No, it should come from the fund that paid for it.
It's an earmark donation.
Yeah.
You mean on the check memo, right, donation, or what are we writing on? Was there more paperwork than just getting a check?
No, there shouldn't, the paperwork's on our end.
She'll give you the answer.
No, I think when Jerry and I explain it to property, and Jared, if you want to come, just the Parks and Trail Fund is paying for this, so the donation should go back to the fund that paid for it, if that's the intent of the body. Yeah.
On our end, my wife happens to be the treasurer of the club, so we need to know the amount and who to make it out to.
And a copy of bill
And what
for,
to put in the memo.
Yep, we can, Jared and I can work
We'll get
together.
you that. Okay. That's easy.
everybody good with it now?
From highway for a whole month and a half usually.
George can start playing in the dirt. All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. That's all about 10,000 brats to pay for this.
Temporary access permit.
Northwest Hardwood logging off Valley Road in the far northwest corner of the county.
They're gonna have to get one from Barron County too?
I don't know. Not in the county.
I don't know.
So yeah, we have a standard temporary, like a 2-year temporary access permit that we do for these types of things. When somebody is accessing land through the Rusk County Forest for a timber sale. So please,
I'd make the motion to approve. Make sure you specified it and covered our portion of the land.
oh yeah, for sure.
Is there a second? Any more discussion? Not, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried. Reargor Bridge.
Sure, we got 6 bids. The lowest was EB at 140,000. I could pass this back around if you want.
I'm on the screen too.
Oh, there you go.
Scan them in.
Very generic bid, 140,000. I think verbally he said that includes the removal of the other one and everything. Next closest bid was 148,000 with Anderson. Everything's spelled out there pretty well. And it goes up from there. So if you guys want to look at them,
And
your decision.
Anderson was the one who bid before, is that correct?
Yeah. They both did.
Just one of them, like one at a time. It'd take forever to do it. It's the front sheet. Easy.
Here's one that is incomplete.
Meet it, Wolf.
It's on the top of the yellow sheet. Incomplete in that there's a bunch of exclusions written. Not a qualifying bid in my opinion.
Which one is that?
Very true north.
Oh,
Yeah, true north, is that what it was?
Yeah. Looking for work these days.
Yeah, this one is Casa Bridge, no delivery, no.
Yeah.
Far going north.
Anyone you want to look at?
Customer is 153.2. Yours probably fall out.
Jesus Christ.
That's the one.
Theirs is a little more specific.
Yeah.
This one is. That's the. Street trail.
Well, say.
Number only eight. Number only eight.
I don't know what else he's done. They bid for that.
Engineer.
Steel.
No matter.
Yeah, ask Phil.
Bob wants to say something.
Yes, Phil. Has anyone asked for any recommendations on width from the State Off-Road Vehicle Council? Because they have talked in the last couple of years of trail width going to 14 feet instead of 12. So if they were doing that, then the bridge should be 14 feet wide, not 12.
There was discussion about that meeting, I was at, funding meeting, but it was never pulled into the bridge discussion that I remember.
We talked about it the last couple of years. I guess I'm trying to look forward.
Yeah.
It's not law right now, so.
Right now, it's not.
So if it's not right now, they may not want to pay for it, grant this right now. It's law.
I'm just trying to look forward.
That'd be a question to ask them.
August.
That was kind of my question, the recommendation from them on this. Must be referencing.
Yeah. So bridges. August so far as
It's in our
the
packet.
No, I didn't see it.
We just looked today, I think it's. Heidi,
That other bridge in there too.
the grant has 181,000, is that right?
Sure, when you're building something.
Got my note,
Yeah,
It should be.
right around there.
That was crazy looking. Designs and stars.
Heidi, do you have the summary sheet scanned or
have what now?
the summary sheet? scanned?
Oh, all of these no, I didn't scan that one in, sorry.
I've seen enough between Anderson and Eby, you got to send out about our state approved plans.
Mm-hmm. This one's got the stamp.
Yeah.
Hey, Alec, can I have the other piece of paper?
Yeah.
Spit. Yeah.
Specs.
Did our bid sheet require state approved plans? Eby's is so little there that compared to everybody else.
They'll have to supply engineered plans and then we're gonna get them approved by our own engineer before we authorize them to start building. The EB was told a while back that we're not probably gonna be able to work with that engineer that he uses, because he uses the same engineer as Owen. I don't know that he's been told that officially, but I think he understood that. I hope he did. Because the engineer's gonna have a hard time getting approval from another engineer with those kinds of hand-drawn.
Wouldn't prove anything through that one. Whose is this one? Is this one?
Anderson's. So that was the second.
Well, that's permitting, soil testing, civil engineering, site evaluation, riprap, not included.
So it's probably a lot more than that. So what's in the next one was the custom, and that was a, what,
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't need any of that stuff.
They don't need any of it.
Charge for that stuff.
Well, I can just step in if you guys are having trouble deciding. Statute dictates that we go with the lowest responsible bidder. So unless you have an objective reason to discard the lowest bid, it's kind of
Where
where
the lowest bid doesn't have, that has nothing. Right, that's it. It has no detail or anything.
right. So unless you have an objective reason to discard the lowest bid,
So does that count as an objective reason to
did
discard?
they not meet the bid specs?
There's no detail, it says nothing.
Right, but did we ask for,
Well, they have the bid specs, so
what did you ask for them to return in the bid package? Did you ask for like a COI, a bond?
Patty, can you dig that stuff up? What did we actually say to supply us?
Because if all we essentially asked for was a price, that's not an objective, like if they satisfied what we asked for, that's not really an objective reason to not go with the lowest bid. But if they're missing parts of what we asked for, that's an objective reason.
He's got a lot of stuff in here. Like, that doesn't even say they're gonna rebuild it, right? That just basically says they're gonna.
That's where they were in plastic. This is total bid though.
Same path again.
This is a bridge project.
Yeah.
Gonna go down the same rabbit hole project was the next spec.
Is it part of his big document? Like what he would have, I've never read it. I don't know.
Must be. I'm thinking all we said was supply a bid.
Yeah, so the official notice said,
It was in the paper, right?
yep, and it says all bids must be received by 3 p.m. in a sealed envelope marked sealed bid. TV Bridge.
I think that counts as a bid.
Right, and that's where I'm trying to,
What I'm saying is we have to accept EVs.
saying the statute says the contract shall be awarded to the lowest responsible bidder unless you can come up with an objective reason that this is not a responsible bidder.
Dealing with him in the past, how did we deal with,
EVs bought a handful of bridge and they all came out pretty good in the end.
I mean, did he come up with a design or?
We had an engineered plan.
He did?
You said it was the same engineer.
Same as Owens, yes.
Did Jared do it?
That's what was in the paper.
I have a copy of what the bid specs are.
This is bid specifications, weren't
You have the, are you looking for the bid specs?
they? This kind of steel. It's a big packet.
Yeah, so there's this, like the bid spec packet that goes in. They received this 11-page document with all the. I'm not seeing like. This one Mike should be in.
So then you would enter into a contract with EB and he has to submit the details?
Yep.
But then we're in the contract, right?
Hmm?
Then we're in the contract, so if he doesn't do.
Yeah, we'll be entering a contract, but and once the decision is made who that is, they'll have to get us an engineered plan and we'll have to approve it before they start construction.
And if we don't approve their plan, then what happens with the contract?
Suppose then they're not meeting the contract. I would assume EB's gonna try to find an engineer to get an approved plan.
Second sentence seems to. Because you turn a bid, that means you're gonna follow what the bid specs were.
Right.
So that's binding as well as them putting this whole thing in their bid sheet.
So basically, per what Ashley's saying, is we need to take EB, right?
It's the best I can see.
If you want another layer of review, you could say something like pursuant to Corp Council review or something like that, if you want it run through another, set of eyes.
What's that again?
If you are feeling uncomfortable with this, you could accept the lowest bid pursuant to Corp Council review if you want the situation run through another set of eyes.
I feel comfortable with it right now after I see the bid specs, because by putting a bid in, that means you're honoring the specs you got, even if you don't put it down there, would be my opinion. You're making a bid based on that information you got.
The requirements within the bid specs.
Yeah. So that would be my answer. I don't know what anybody else thinks. Jerry, are you abstaining again this time?
Yeah, I can't see no.
Okay. That's fine.
I'm just going through their,
Huh?
I'm just going through their website right now, looking to make sure we good job.
What are you looking through?
I'm just on their website looking,
Whose is that?
EVs or EVs or what.
I didn't know you had a website.
It's just their Google page.
We've built a handful of bridges for us and they've been good.
Yeah.
Anybody care to make a motion?
Did you? You can.
I can. I'll make a motion. We contract with EB based on whatever that whole thing is called.
Bid specs.
Bid specs and the price quote.
The statutory requirement that we pick them. So.
No second.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Coming. Going and coming, I guess. is the phrase. Timber perspective?
We didn't change anything on the prospectus except for the dates.
We haven't changed nothing on this since last time. Issue we had with excessive, it's not owned, it says it right in. That was the issue with that.
It could have gone either way.
Make a motion to approve the sale prospectus.
Second. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried. Next up is the Forest Revitalization Act.
Advertise. I'll make a motion to advertise the timber sales packet. You got how many sales? That's like it.
There's a second.
Good question.
It's a bunch of 25 and
There's the
There's a few.
was any of these from the spring one that we didn't sell? Can you change them up or blow up?
Looks like 18. Yeah, I don't want to lose count.
With the one,
Yeah, we lowered it a little bit more.
Anything else on it?
The guys did a great job on all these, including DNR. They threw a good handful of these in as well.
Nothing else? Motion to advertise for sale.
I made it.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Revitalization Act.
There's a proposal for a aviation fuel plant in Hayward. They use, I guess, basically biomass from trees. There's a bill to help that out. And some counties are doing this resolution or something similar to it to show that they're in favor of the bill.
Our reps in Madison have all signed on with this already, so.
Anything that's gonna use some wood is gonna help the timber market, I think, so. If it works out, it'll be a good thing.
Was I right, and they were discussing it, and they said there were 3 places that they were looking at in the Midwest? I heard that somewhere. Anyhow, We actually have a better chance to utilize this than Carver Drive.
Yeah.
90 inches.
I don't know, I can't hear anything, to be honest with you.
90 inches now.
Charge.
Sorry.
Somebody make a motion on presenting this to the board?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second it.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All county travel? Okay.
The revised WCFA fall meeting, we forgot to include meals on there. I can't remember how much was that, Heidi, like
$99.
99 total?
You gonna talk about the other thing?
Well, sure, Elk Committee, I go to those meetings twice a year. Gonna drive my own car like usual and not turn in any mileage. And no meal.
If he has any objections, we'll do them all at once.
Mike's gonna go to Spooner, Washburn County for this waterway wetland permitting meeting with a handful of county forest people and WCFA, Dave Kafura. It should be pretty good and helpful. You can learn how to speed up our permitting process for these trails.
Somebody care to make a motion on the three requests? Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Budget review?
Yeah, we have to vote and forward to finance. Approve him.
Get to
I
that.
think we have those other.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing new, nothing new from last month, just the numbers of the year-to-date expenditures went up a little bit in some of them. Forestry budget is a little out of whack, like I said last month, because more people took our health insurance. Sure what to do about that, but.
Make a motion to approve the budget report.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? We need a motion that we reviewed the budget, all right?
It's a motion to approve and forward to finance. Okay.
the payment reimbursement? Pinecrest hardwood?
Oh, that was, they paid, paid ahead on stumpage. So we had to reimburse that. Close the sale out.
A lot of paint.
4 hours are achy just thinking about it.
Motion on it yet, or did somebody make the
They're
motion?
still looking.
Make a motion to approve the bills.
Second. Anything else? Bills? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
November 18th.
Yep. Anybody have anything else?
You guys are interested, I heard back from Mike, the culvert's gonna cost $1,096.70. Thick plastic.
$1,096.
$1,096.70.
How long is it?
George, is your culvert 30-footer?
Yes.
Usually they're 30.
Are we done, sir?
4 foot by 30. I guess we're done. Anybody have anything else?
So.
Not, we're adjourned.
You guys are picking.
You feel as bad as you sound, dude?
Left side.
Oh, it was good. That was good on the end, and then last 2 days, just.
Yeah, it's nice of your son to buy first class tickets.
You're good for it. Mom? Well, I was at work anyways, so.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, fun, go fun working.
Having a good time.
Yes, they work at too.
You had the house alone.
No, I'm in charge of the cat.
It's not.
And the cat runs the house, I'm sure.
Ornery.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Takes a long time to call it.
Nice job, Jared.
I didn't do anything. You guys did it all.
This is what I do.
There's no information.
This is what you do.
Not looking at your numbers well.
911, and you just get past it.
Getting involved in that. Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Well, it won't be till next year.